here today, and I want to speak from the perspective that I am an addict. So I'm Mike, I'm an addict. A year ago, I was doing drugs in this parking lot, and at the end of that run, I ran down the street in my bare feet, thinking that they were gonna gun me down, and I ran in right at the corner there at Bank and Fifth. I ran into a guy who I had known from this church, and he went to Jericho Road, where I had attended before, and that was kind of amazing. I ran into somebody I knew, and I thought I could trust, and rightfully so. And he kind of took me to the meeting. I got into detox, and from there I went back to Jericho Road. I'll just say before that, I'd gotten into drugs and alcohol. Honestly, I used to find it really embarrassing to admit, but I got into it kind of just, I had this image of sex, drugs, and rock and roll was the thing for me. And all my heroes were musicians, and I noticed that these guys did that, and it seemed like a rite of passage into that life, maybe a dark rite of passage, like you need that credit or something. And when I first used, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I felt free and no cares, euphoria, all that. But it's not the most interesting story, really. I did all kinds of crazy things, and through my 20s, it ended up getting pretty boring, really. Just racing to the beer store after work and using whatever, whenever, and yeah, not all that exciting. But I'm going to talk a little more about this year. So I went to Jericho Road, and I'll tell you, it gets worse every time. And I mean, it took a while for me to get out of that depression. Every time I go back out, it takes longer and longer, even if it's a shorter run. But I just resolved to do what I was told, because my thinking was messed up. And I knew that, I've always thought there's something to this God thing, because I've had different experiences. I'm going to be really scatterbrained here. I have no plan of action of what I'm going to say, but just whatever. Actually, I'll share a couple of things, a couple of stories. Years ago, I was in detox up north, and and before that, my first interest in church and stuff was smoking pot, and I'd end up watching conspiracy theory videos and all that, and I ran across this one that was really comprehensive. I thought, wow, this guy's going into detail. This is good stuff. And then, he was saying it from a Christian perspective. That's right, Christian prescription. That's mine. But yeah, so I was at detox, and I went to church drunk once. Somebody promised me a free lunch, so I was like, okay. And at this service, it was like in the country. Men wear suits and women hats and all that. But anyways, they were speaking a lot of truth and showing some amazing things about evolution and all this. It gained an interest, so I started looking into the Bible. And, I fall away and come back. But anyways, I was at detox, and I cracked open the Bible. First thing I opened it to was Proverbs 20, verse 1. And that's beer is a brawler and liquor is a mocker, or something like that, right? And I was like, wow, okay. So I kept reading Proverbs, and there was so much wisdom in there. I was like, wow, this is, there's something to this. And, I read, but then I read Ecclesiastes. Ooh, that was really depressing. Okay. It was like, you know what? Who cares? Just drink and eat, and it's not worth it at all. But then at the very end, it says, wait, no. Like, so I was like, it's a good thing I didn't open it up to just Ecclesiastes. It's right in the middle of the Bible, too. It's easy to do. So I should change that, or no. But anyways, I thought, well, Ecclesiastes, maybe you're meant to know your Proverbs before you get to there and say, oh, no, this isn't right. But anyways, I was all fuddled up from reading that, and I went to my room, and I was just I was so discontent with life. I was like, is this real? Is it not? Is it all a hoax or whatever? I just didn't know, because I can just think around things and look at the contradictions and whatever. So I got down on my knees and I said, God, this is Mike Morris. I gave him my social insurance number, my address, my parents' name, everything, maybe it's him. Oh, that Mike Morris. It's a popular name. But so, I said, just show me this is real, that you're real, just give me anything. And, listen, and I opened my eyes, and there was the Metagami River with all the mosquitoes out there. But it was a nice sunny day, birds chirping, little clouds in the sky. It was really beautiful, nice green grass, flowers. I was like, oh, yeah, this is like art. There must have been a designer for this. But then that other voice said, wait a second, Mike. Maybe that's just beauty because that's what you were, grew up to believe is beauty. What if you grew up in a wasteland? Maybe that would be beautiful to you. It's all relative. I thought, oh, yeah, maybe. So I did what somebody had told me maybe to try before, and I cracked open the Bible again. Let's see what it says. And I flipped to Psalms 8, and it's a little chapter. And it goes on, who is it that you think made the mountains and the blue skies and the birds and the stars in the night? Who did that? It is I, the Lord. I was like, whoa, okay. Wow. That's a big one. But you know what? I forget this stuff. And there's been other things like that have happened to me. I'm not going to, I have written them down, but like I just said, I forget. I find one thing that's happened in recent times is I have these weird coincidences that happen. And now I said that I know that it means that you're on the right track. I might be doing bad mentally, and then when I turn it around, and I've been big into AA, and the 12 steps and working with a sponsor and helping others. That's so huge, right, to feeling better. But just getting out of self. But so when I have these coincidences, it's when I'm doing better, and I might have 3 or 4 in a day. And they're stupid coincidences. Okay, here's one. The last one was I was listening to the Red Hot Chili Peppers, By the Way, in the morning, and I was watching the video. I was playing some guitar, and I looked at the video for a second, and there was, what did it say? Oh, Echo Park Drive. I was like, oh, Echo Park Drive, that's where they did that video. Okay, and then whatever. And I was having a good day. I did a bunch of step work, a bunch of writing, and I kind of got my thinking in check again. And then on the bus, an hour later, I'm sitting there on the bus, and I look up, and there's a guy with an Echo Park Drive, Los Angeles sweater right across from me. You don't see that every day. I thought, oh, there it is again. And then what do? I go and say, okay, I might be having one of those days, and yeah, okay, this is good maybe. I go and tell Neil that about this coincidence. He's like, no way. I lived at Echo Park or on Echo Park Drive for 2 years. Like, he's telling me all about it and the history and everything. And wow, like there's kind of a third. I happen to tell. I think he was the first one or only one that I told. Again, he's got a big Echo Park thing, and it was, to me, that was something. Like it gives me some thought that there is some light, you know. But I have to say, and I mean, I forget these things. And I need to be reminded. And you know what? Being here tonight is good, you know. Hearing that piano music and your spoken word, it is, I have to admit, kind of a beautiful thing, you know. Just people and life coming together and trying to be joyous. I haven't been thinking that way lately. So I'm glad I'm here. Yeah, I've been way more in an Ecclesiastes mode of thinking lately. Honestly, it's not good. I don't know. I you know, sometimes I look at the world and I just think it's so broken, and what am I doing this for? And I miss the other stuff, and I was doing so good though. But God, you know, God is like, maybe that's it for a person like me. And I haven't had much God dope lately, honestly. You know, and I've heard people talk about it like that. You got to get that God dope. And that's mine too. And that's it. Thanks.